Hello everybody, Lisa Strickland here. How are you today? Your autoimmune coach. So today I have decided to do one that's flexible because when we're looking at assisting our own autoimmune and cooking, we need to cook for a family as well. So today we're actually going to make chickpea nuggets. Now, chickpeas are really great for you. They're full of protein and fiber, so they keep your blood sugar levels stable and they're really healthy. They've got lots of different minerals in them as well. So it's really all about finding things that you can do for yourself, but also for your family. And you know, I know how much kids really love their chicken nuggets and those sort of things. But unfortunately, they're all deep fried, and a lot of the chicken out there that they use for those sort of things is all not really good chicken. You know, it's chicken that's either got antibiotics, hormones, any of that sort of thing. They don't really. I think it's very hard for you to find an organic chicken nugget. So, what I'm looking at doing is really just finding something that you can use. So these nuggets can be used on top of your salad, right? To give you a little bit more protein with your salad, just for something different. And the kids, of course, can have a lovely salad, you know, depending on the age group of your children. Some of them really like to, you know, be having pieces of capsicum and little cherry tomatoes and those sort of things, and be able to use their hands. So it's really good for them as well. Now, these nuggets are also gluten-free as well. So, you know, it covers all bases for everybody. And so we're going to start now. Just turn on my blender. And what we've got is, we've got 1 tin of organic chickpeas. Now, for those of you who live in Australia and any of my US friends or any other country out there, have a look for yours, but you can actually buy these in the supermarket. They're actually an Italian brand, and they are organically farmed. But the one thing that I like about this is that if you're going to use tinned chickpeas, and we have to be honest with ourselves, when we're really busy with the family, or even, you know, if we're working a lot, it's something that's a lot more convenient to do, isn't it? So the thing with these is the tin is also BPA free, okay? And for those of you who don't know what that means, I will give you, I'll do a little video later, but it's really important to make sure that your tins are BPA free, okay? There is a lot of health concerns with BPA lined tins. Okay, so it's called Annalisa, and it's a really good brand, and you can just get them in Woolworths, okay? And they are organic chickpeas. Okay, so a tin of chickpeas in there. I just pop them in my sieve and give them a little bit of a rinse. Now we have a tablespoon of savoury yeast flakes. So this is the cheesy component to the nuggets and gives a little bit of that cheesy flavour. So in here I have half a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, and between 1/4 and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. It just depends on whether you're used to having things that are a little bit salty. Sometimes with the kids as well, if they've been eating a lot of commercialized nuggets, then you'll find that they have a really salty palate. So you might need to start higher and then just sort of reduce it back a bit, because they are really eating too much salt. And we do, even though, especially when, no matter where you are in the world, if you live in a hot subtropical or tropical climate and you're perspiring a lot, you do need to have that salt intake. Just, you know, we don't need to overdo it. It's not good for us. Okay, so I'm going to throw that in there, and I'm going to use my spoon because it's got a little bit, there we go. Okay. Now, also we have, it depends on, just find yourself some gluten-free gluten-free breadcrumbs that you like. You can use rice, you know, I buy a really good rice gluten-free bread that my husband eats because he can't eat gluten. and I actually put it in the oven and then crumb it up. Or you can buy commercialized rice, corn, you know, those sort of breadcrumbs. So I put a tablespoon of that in there as well. That just helps to bind a little bit. Now that's pretty much it. So all we do now is we give it a bit of a blend and a bit of noise. So I usually turn it up a bit. And with a normal blender, you can hear it, you could have heard it then. With this one is that you can hear it sort of combine because it hits the sides and it doesn't come back down. So if you're using a normal blender or a NutriBullet, you'll see how much it is down the bottom. With this one, not so much, but you can hear it. Okay, so I get those out. Oh, throwing things around here. So we've got, it's quite a crummy consistency. Okay, so it's the sort of consistency that you grab and you get a handful and it all comes together. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get our little thing here. I always use baking paper. I like to reduce the amount of cleaning that I have to do in times, especially washing up and things of an evening, because we're usually, you know, tired, weary after a big day. So I just really push it all together, flatten it down a bit so it looks like a nugget, roll it in some gluten-free breadcrumbs. Okay. Now, what I find is if you don't, you can, if your children are used to having things a bit drier, that's fine. But if not, because if they're used to commercialized nuggets, they're used to them being really soft. So I usually get a bit of grapeseed oil. You can use maybe a little bit of avocado oil, something that's, you know, fairly good for you. Try and stay away from the canola oils of the world, because unfortunately, especially in Australia, we don't know whether they are genetically modified or not in a lot of cases because they don't say anything. So I literally get my pastry brush and just rub it along there, and I just continue. I'll do another one to do that. That just gives them a little bit more moisture. They're not as dry. But you know, most kids these days, they love their, and most, doesn't matter where you come from, like their sauces. So, you know, if they are a little bit dry, it's not a big deal because they do like their sauce. But I do find there is a difference when you put just that little bit of oil with your pastry brush over the top. So there you go. You know, they're really easy. How long did that take me? You know, so it's just about getting those things out, and there you have it. You know, if you, for your children, you can cut a bit of lettuce, you can have some snow peas, or you can just put whatever you want on the plate that you know your kids are going to like with the salad items, and if you're trying to encourage them to eat certain things. And then you've got your nuggets that are all nice and brown and ready to dip in the sauce. Now for us, we make a big bowl of salad, and then we can have those in on top as well. That adds that extra protein to our meal. They are really, really tasty. You know, you can make maybe some garlic aioli, something else that you might like, some sort of dipping sauce that you want to have with it as well. And you know, these are good for adults and for children. And also you can use them when you've got friends coming to, you know, to come over for a little bit of entertaining. Just something that's a little bit different to the norm. Okay, so there you have it. Now, I'd love to see anyone that decides to go ahead and make some of these. Pop some photos in underneath and let me know how you're going with it all. And if there are any questions, please let me know. And I look forward to talking to you later in the week. Take care. Bye.